Imagine walking through the dense jungles of Mexico and suddenly coming face to face with a giant stone head weighing over 20 tons, staring at you with an expression frozen in time. No one knows exactly who carved it. No one knows why they built it. And even more mysteriously, no one knows where the people who created it disappeared to. Long before the Maya built their pyramids, and centuries before the Aztecs ruled Central America, another civilization emerged from the shadows. They had cities, monuments, trade networks, and knowledge far beyond what historians once believed possible. Then, almost as suddenly as they appeared, they vanished. This is the story of the Olmecs, the mysterious people many historians call the Mother Civilization of Mesoamerica. Around 1500 BC, while ancient Egypt was building temples and kingdoms in China were rising, a remarkable civilization was taking shape along the Gulf Coast of what is now Mexico. The land was hot, humid, and covered in thick forests and winding rivers. It seemed like an unlikely place for a great civilization to emerge, yet this was exactly where the Olmecs began their journey. No one knows what they called themselves. The name Olmec was given thousands of years later by the Aztecs and simply means rubber people, because the region was known for its rubber trees. The first Olmec communities were small farming villages. They grew maize, beans, and squash, and relied on the rivers for food and transportation. But unlike other farming societies, these people began organizing themselves into something much greater. Over time, villages turned into towns, and towns transformed into ceremonial centers filled with monuments and massive earthworks. It was the beginning of one of the most extraordinary civilizations in the ancient world. Their first major city was San Lorenzo. At its height, San Lorenzo was unlike anything else in the Americas. Artificial hills, giant platforms, and carefully designed drainage systems covered the landscape. Thousands of people lived and worked there. But what truly made San Lorenzo extraordinary were the colossal stone heads. Some stood nearly 10 feet tall and weighed as much as a school bus. Each face was different, suggesting that they represented real individuals, perhaps kings or powerful rulers. The mystery becomes even greater when we consider how they were made. The massive basalt stones used to create these heads came from mountains nearly 50 miles away. The Olmecs had no metal tools, no horses, and no wheels for transportation. So how did they move stones weighing 20 or even 30 tons across rivers, swamps, and dense jungle? Even today, historians continue debating the answer. Some believe thousands of workers pulled the stones using ropes and wooden sledges. Others think they transported them by raft along rivers. Whatever the method, it required incredible organization and engineering skills. These were not primitive people, they were master builders. But the giant heads were only the beginning. The Olmecs created enormous stone altars, mysterious sculptures, and beautiful jade carvings. Their artists crafted detailed figurines that reveal a world filled with gods, rulers, and mythical creatures. One creature appears again and again in Olmec art, the jaguar. To the Olmecs, the jaguar was far more than an animal. It represented power, mystery, and perhaps even the connection between humans and the supernatural world. Many carvings depict strange human-jaguar hybrids with fierce expressions and unusual features. Why did they worship this creature? Some historians believe the jaguar symbolized kingship and divine authority. Others think it played a central role in their religion and creation myths. Unfortunately, the Olmecs left behind no written books to explain their beliefs. Their secrets remain buried beneath the jungle. As the civilization expanded, another great city rose to prominence. Its name was La Venta. La Venta became the spiritual and political center of the Olmec world. At its heart stood a giant pyramid made entirely of earth. Rising more than 100 feet into the sky, it was one of the earliest monumental structures in the Americas. Around the pyramid stood plazas, ceremonial platforms, and enormous stone monuments. This was not a simple village. This was a thriving city, ruled by powerful leaders and supported by thousands of people. The Olmecs also built one of the earliest long-distance trade networks in the Americas. They exchanged valuable goods such as jade, obsidian, serpentine, and exotic feathers with distant regions hundreds of miles away. Through trade, their ideas spread across Mesoamerica. Many of the cultural traditions later associated with the Maya and Aztecs may have first appeared among the Olmecs. Some historians believe the Olmecs developed one of the earliest writing systems in the Americas. Others suggest they may have created an early calendar and even understood sophisticated astronomical concepts. The more archaeologists uncover, the more advanced this civilization appears. And yet, despite their achievements, the Olmecs remain wrapped in mystery. Who were their rulers? How was their society organized? What language did they speak? Many of these questions still have no answers. Then came an even greater mystery. Around 900 BC, San Lorenzo began to decline. Its monuments were deliberately damaged. Some colossal heads were buried. Buildings were abandoned. The great city that had once flourished became strangely silent. No one knows exactly why. Some researchers believe environmental changes may have altered river systems and destroyed farmland. Others think internal conflicts or political revolutions brought down the ruling elite. Perhaps invading groups attacked the city, or perhaps the people themselves chose to leave. History has not provided an answer. As San Lorenzo faded, La Venta rose to become the new center of Olmec civilization. For centuries, it flourished. Its rulers continued building monuments and maintaining trade networks across the region. The Olmec influence spread farther than ever before. Then history repeated itself. Around 400 BC, La Venta also fell into decline. Construction stopped. Ceremonial centers were abandoned. The population disappeared. The civilization that had dominated Mesoamerica for nearly 1,000 years seemed to dissolve into the forests. Unlike the Roman Empire or ancient Egypt, there was no dramatic final battle, no famous conqueror, and no surviving records. The Olmecs simply faded away. Or did they? Many historians believe the people themselves never truly disappeared. Instead, their cities declined, while their descendants merged into other cultures across Mesoamerica. Their ideas, beliefs, and traditions lived on. The Maya inherited elements of their calendar and religious symbols. The Aztecs preserved legends of ancient peoples who came before them. The influence of the Olmecs echoed through history long after their cities had vanished. That is why historians often call them the Mother Civilization of Mesoamerica. Yet the mysteries surrounding them continue. Why did they carve giant heads? What happened to their rulers? Why were some monuments intentionally destroyed? Did climate change destroy their society? Or was there a political revolution hidden somewhere in the shadows of history? Every new archaeological discovery raises even more questions. In recent years, scientists using advanced technology have discovered hidden structures buried beneath the earth. Ancient ceremonial sites, platforms, and monuments are still emerging from the jungle. Each discovery reveals that the Olmecs were even more sophisticated than previously imagined, and perhaps their greatest secrets remain undiscovered. Imagine being among the first explorers to encounter one of those colossal stone heads, a giant face emerging from the jungle, its expression calm and timeless, watching silently as centuries pass by. Empires rise, kingdoms fall, languages disappear, but the stone faces remain. They are the guardians of a forgotten world. A civilization that appeared almost out of nowhere, changed the course of history in the Americas, and then slipped back into mystery. The story of the Olmecs reminds us that history is filled with lost chapters. Entire civilizations can flourish, achieve greatness, and disappear, leaving behind only fragments of their existence. And sometimes those fragments raise more questions than answers. Somewhere beneath the forests of Mexico, more temples may still lie buried. More monuments may remain hidden, perhaps even clues to the ultimate fate of the Olmecs, awaiting to be uncovered. Until that day comes, the colossal stone heads will continue to stare into the distance, silently guarding one of history's greatest mysteries. Who were the Olmecs? How did they build their incredible world? And why did the first great civilization of Mesoamerica vanish? The answers may still be out there, sleeping beneath the jungle, waiting for someone to discover them.
If history fascinated you, don't stop here. Like, comment, and subscribe for more untold stories. Watch the next untold story.